So what's up? How you doing today? We're going to take a look at using guide tones with Bertha as the just song example, just kind of like a vehicle for doing this. And if you're wondering, I don't know what guide tones are, just click on this because, well, I want to know, or maybe I've heard the term, but I don't know what it is. It is basically playing specific chord tones along with a chord progression and making that the guide for your improvisation, which can go all around it. So if you see my videos a lot, you know I like to just play examples along with backing tracks to show you it in a real kind of more life example rather than just playing on my own talking about it. So let's listen to the first one, and I want you to listen. I'm going to play through my guide tone version, this little melody, and then I'm going to play it again, but improvising around it, just using pentatonic scales, and then we'll get into kind of what's going on there. But hear that first time and hear it when you, second time through, just hear that melody again, how it's glued all together. All right, let's check it out. So what I've got going on here, the first example is we're playing just C and G, right? And we're just gonna just keep it real simple and just use the pentatonic, right? So C major pentatonic, and then for G, you just gotta change one note. G major pentatonic, right? And we're just gonna grab chord tones as they happen. So it's gonna either be the root third or fifth of the chord. That's the basic, if you don't know, the basic building blocks of the chords. And they all each have like a different relationship to the chord. The root, you know, fits right in there. It's the name of the chord. That's the most obvious. C is C. It's the root, also the one, but think of it like a tree. It's like the roots growing up. And then the third would be like something growing up there. The third has the most tension out of these three, the most color. It makes you, lets you know it's a major or minor chord in this case. They're both major. And then the fifth is a little more in between. And it kind of blends and it sounds a little more like the root, but with like a little more tension, a little more color to it. And then you have different notes for G. G is now the root, which actually was the fifth of C, so they can share notes. And then you have B, which is the biggest change there. That's the third, and then D is the fifth. So the biggest change between them is not G. G glues these two chords together, so you can play G the whole time. Sounds great, but that C, and then going down to B, or in this case I'm playing it over here, different string, that's going to let the listener know that like you're changing chords if you're just playing these three notes for each of the chords. So anyways, what we have here is this guide. We're playing the root, and then we're playing the fifth, going back, fifth of G, and then back to the root of C, and then we're doing the fifth of G, and then the root of G. We're doing two in that one there. And then that's our little guide. That's our little melody. It's guiding the rest of the kind of improvisation. So we've got this in our ears. And when you're coming up with this stuff, you want to like listen, is this something that sounds good? Think of it just like as a little bit of a melody. And does it sound good to you? It doesn't have to be something crazy. You know, it's hard to come up with something like this. It's going to be like some groundbreaking, crazy thing or something that hasn't been done before. But make sure it's something that doesn't sound kind of, I was gonna say random or whatever you like, but make sure it doesn't sound bad to you, like you like it. So it's like, to me, you know, I came up with this and I was like, okay, it sounds good, I like it, right? It's a little cat, you can get that in your ears. You can get your ears a little bit, right? And then just improvising around it. And then for each chord while you're on it or leading into it, using the pentatonic of that chord. So you got the C, you know, and then that note, you know, by definition is the note that, like I just said, changes that. pentatonic and maybe hitting up other notes from that scale and that chord and things like that too. And that'll give you some guidance. Let's listen to another example. We'll dive a little deeper to some more stuff with this. So this one's starting off with the root as well, but in a different spot, down an octave here. And then we're doing the root of G as well, then the third of C, then the fifth of G. So this one's even simpler, really just low down. Just wanted to give an example of low. So we've got that. We can get up high if we want, and then bring it down low. We also always end on a root of a chord. It sounds almost resolved when you do, but you can end it here. And we can mix and match. You can think of a longer thing of like, oh, we have one time through, we get this one guide, and then the next one, another one. And this is not all meant to be memorized. It can, although for exercise sake, it's great. This is mostly for exercise sake, and the hope is that eventually you start hearing this stuff in your head, and you get away from thinking. This right now, you may be thinking that this is a lot of thinking, but my goal is always to get people removed from thinking too much when you're actually playing, but going through little exercises like this can take a big leap towards getting you to that spot of just hearing it more in your head and just playing and still improvising freely, but there's a structure in there and it gives you much more of a direction, makes you much more melodic and makes it more kind of memorable, and it forces you to play more in terms of phrases. Because if you're just thinking about the scale, you just got one scale, you're going, you can play, and you can certainly make good stuff, but you're more focused on just that one scale and just kind of playing. Here, you're focused on things that not only connect to the chord, which sound good, but forcing you to have phrases and leave a little more space too, so that you get to that spot. You get these destinations along your journey. So with that said, let's listen to one more example 3, and see what's going on with this one. So this one's starting out up here. We don't have to always, like I said, stop on a root note. We don't have to start with one either. So we're starting on the root. I'm sorry, the third. The third of C, and then the fifth of G, the root of C, third of G, and then down to the root of G. So resolving it. So what's kind of unique of this one? It's all descending down. Very, very simple. Really add some shape there. And you could make it one going up too. Maybe make it go up, then go down, whatever, vice versa. So you start thinking beyond this of one time through the progression, but you're linking things up, And again, you got that just sliding up to it, right? It's like you can start to hear that in your head. And this is how a lot of my playing, what I do is I'm just hearing these things, and they're not always playing out. It just starts that you do it enough, it becomes a part of you, and you start to hear these notes, and you're playing around it, and it gives you a lot more shape. So even if it may sound like I'm playing all over the place, I'm hearing this guide, and it's guiding me here, guiding me up there, wherever. And it's a huge help. It's a huge help. It's something I'm always working at, trying to get even better at. And if this is helpful, you want to try it out with the track. I got the backing track over here. I'll put it in the description down below as well. And hopefully this is helpful. I'm going to make a lot more stuff like this. So let me know in the comments down below too if this stuff is helpful for wherever you're at and you're playing. And hopefully we'll get a lot more of these in the future. And I'll see you in another video.